A Conservative MP is making waves with a series of comments about diversity. According to Maxime Bernier, too much diversity will destroy what has made Canada great. And he accuses the Prime Minister of what he calls extreme multiculturalism. But Bernier is getting no support from the mainstream of his party. The CBC's Evan Dyer has the story from Ottawa. So, Evan, it all started with the tweets. What did Bernier say?
That's right. So Maxime Bernier, of course, many people will remember as a leadership contender who lost out to Andrew Scheer, but still probably the most prominent face of the Conservative Party from Quebec, particularly following the resignation of Denis Labelle. And he started to tweet last night. He put out a thread in both official languages, so it does not appear to have been a purely spontaneous Twitter eruption, but rather something a little more thought out, in which he said, first of all, that diversity is a strength and that it's part of the Canada he loves. But then he very quickly went on to say that you have to ask, where does it cross a line, or where does it go too far? He started out to say in his tweets that we have to celebrate what makes us different from other cultures and societies, or else what is the point of being a Canadian? Let's look at how he wrapped up his Twitter thread. His last two tweets said, and we can get them on the screen, Trudeau's extreme multiculturalism and cult of diversity will divide us into little tribes that have less and less in common, apart from their dependence on government in Ottawa. These tribes become political clienteles to be bought with taxpayer dollars and special privileges. Cultural balkanization brings distrust, social conflict, and potentially violence, as we're seeing everywhere. It's time we reverse this trend before the situation gets worse. More diversity will not be our strength, he says. It will destroy what has made us such a great country. And one Conservative strategist who I talked to a short while ago, who objected to these comments and said he doesn't believe that they reflect the party, also took exception to the fact that these tweets came out on the first anniversary of Charlottesville, which, as he put it, was either extremely unfortunate timing or perhaps not unfortunate. But either way, he certainly thought that made them worse from his point of view.
It is strong language, the idea of destroying the country. It seems as though he wanted to provoke some kind of reaction. What has that reaction been?
That's right. And then, of course, this is a figure who is controversial within the party already, seen as not fully accepting his defeat by some as leader and trying to constantly draw the spotlight onto himself. And some of the other people in the party who've commented so far do seem to see it in that light. We've seen a few members taking to Twitter to push back against him, Deepak O'Brien, and the party's official critic for immigration, Michelle Rempel, doing so. But from the leader of the party, a fairly anodyne statement in support of the principle of diversity. But first of all, I should say it doesn't actually come from the leader, it comes from the leader's office, but the words are those of his spokesperson, Brock Harrison, and he talks about diversity generally, not about Maxime Bernier. Let's have a look at what he had to say. Canada has been built by people from all over the world coming here to enjoy the freedom, prosperity and equality that our country offers. Conservatives will continue to recognize and celebrate the contributions made to Canada from people from diverse backgrounds that have enriched our history and our society. So no real condemnation coming there, but certainly Michelle Rempel, the party's official immigration critic, is suggesting that people who engage in this kind of debate are cowards in her Twitter feed. And she says, be part of the solution, not part of the photo op or seemingly premeditated tweet thread for fundraising purposes. A pretty clear reference to that suspicion in some Conservative quarters that Maxime Bernier's leadership ambitions are not dead. So definitely the party would not welcome these tweets, is certainly split by them, and in general would prefer that Maxime Bernier stop tweeting, but the leader showing more reluctance than some of the other people in the party to push back aggressively.
Thanks, Evan.
Thanks, Lindsay.
That's the CBC's Evan Dyer reporting in Ottawa.